Welcome to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, where nurses take control, break barriers, and build a future of financial freedom and career success. Whether you're burned out, ready to level up, or looking for the blueprint to thrive, you're in the right place. It's time to lead, grow, and win because your future starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Chichi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Take Charge with Dr. Chichi, the show where nurses and healthcare professionals reclaim their peace, power, and financial future. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or ready to take bold steps forward, this space is for you. Let's grow, lead, and thrive together. I had a conversation this week with some nurses, and we were discussing burnout. And one of them told me that she has the opinion that burnout is a common problem that is highly discussed in the nursing profession. She wondered if there's any nurse that have never had an episode of burnout at some point in their nursing career. The other nurse said, in most cases, financial commitment keep nurses in the same place where they are experiencing burnout. I told them that was why and the exact reason why I have this show. It's time to create awareness about burnout and have nurses or any healthcare professional take charge of their lives. This is a crusade of no nurse or healthcare professional left behind. So let's join together and go on this crusade, be part of it. Subscribe, share, give a thumbs up, or send your comments. All right. So today's episode is titled Burnout and Resilience. And we have Dr. Nwozichi on the show. In this episode, I will interview Dr. Nwozichi and he will share his story about burnout and his path to resilience. So the goal for today's show is to bring awareness, educational and clinical research setting, um, kind of create awareness so that the silent toll of burnout in nursing, educational and clinical research setting, and to offer practical insight, encouragement, and hope to professionals navigating similar challenges, to explore how nurse fatigue and burnout can become a catalyst for purposeful transformation, and how one nurse leader rewrote his narrative through education and research. So this episode is aimed to inspire nurses and professionals to embrace their calling beyond the bedside, prioritize their well-being, and take charge of their personal and professional growth. So our guest today, Dr. Nwozichi, is an assistant professor of nursing and oncology researcher based in Georgia, with a strong academic background and a deep commitment to healthcare. Not just that, but healthcare innovation. Dr. Nwozichi has contributed to clinical and scholarly cancer care advancement. Despite his many accomplishments, he has faced the journey that he's now going to share with us today. And he's going to share whatever he's going to share is going to help other people heal. He's going to bring compassion, clarity, and lived wisdom to this conversation on resilience, purpose, and taking charge of one's well-being. Dr. Nwozichi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So nice to have you here. All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Nwozichi, can you briefly introduce yourself and your current role?
Well, you already introduced me. My name is Dr. Chinonso Nwozichi. I'm an assistant professor of nursing at Kennesaw State University and also the founder of the Oncology Nursing Society of Nigeria. By God's grace, I'm also an oncology nurse, a nurse educator, oncology nurse researcher, with a strong focus on global health and also cancer care workforce development. So I try to see how we can build oncology nursing workforce globally, starting from Africa and the United States and other parts of the world.
Wow. Wow. So what signs or moment first made you realize you were experiencing burnout?
Well, burnout generally, it's something that many people don't even know they are experiencing burnout.
Yeah.
People think they are strong, I can do it, but within you, this you are experiencing burnout that you may not really realize. So for me, at that time, I thought I had it all figured out. I was so
Hmm.
busy doing things, strong, and people were also, appreciating the work I was doing. When
Hmm.
they appreciate me, I will continue to do more. However, at a point, I realized that I began to notice emotional exhaustion.
Wow.
It was, yeah, emotional exhaustion. There was a disruption of sleep.
Mm.
So I thought it was okay, maybe it was just a day thing. But then over time, there was this persistent feeling of being overwhelmed
Mm.
despite my productivity. I was still productive, but then I was still overwhelmed by, things going on around me. And then, this joy that I always felt when working was leaving me gradually. So I think it was at that point I realized that something was not going right. And
Wow.
I needed to make a change in my routine. So it was that point I realized that I was actually experiencing burnout.
Interesting. And burnout comes in a very subtle way. Sometimes you don't
Absolutely.
know it till you're already deep into it. So, was there any specific situation or pattern that contributed to your burnout?
Yeah, I think at that time I was balancing multiple roles,
Wow.
teaching, research, mentorship,
Mm.
leading, and even personal life as a family member, a family man,
Mm.
a lot of responsibilities. So, without adequate boundaries or time, if you put time for self-care, everybody, we are likely to experience burnout. So that was my own critical moment at that point when I was just juggling a lot of responsibilities at the same time. That was when I actually did felt I was really experiencing burnout within me.
Wow. So, how did the burnout affect your personal life, teaching, or even research work?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, you see, at that time, I became emotionally distant. Like I mentioned
Wow.
before, yeah, I became emotionally distant. Sometimes, even though I am naturally creative, but
Hmm.
I realized that I was becoming less creative at that moment.
Wow.
So, yeah, and each time I realized that I would want to even put my more effort to what I was doing. But then the more I tried to put more effort, the less productivity I achieved. And sometimes I even became irritable. So
Wow.
my productivity started declining, and I found it hard to stay engaged even during meetings or simple discussions. So even the writing, I write a lot. I write, publish, I do research, which I find to be generally enjoyable to me. But at
Hmm.
that moment, they became burdensome. So those when the things that you normally enjoy become start feeling burdensome, then that is a critical sign of a real burnout.
When you're saying that, I was just thinking about myself. I'm checking all the symptoms that I felt, when I was experiencing burnout too. I mean, the funny part is that you feel like you got this, I got this, but
Yeah, yeah.
psychologically, it's really draining you, and I like you're saying, I was just checking off everything. So, what made you decide to speak up or seek help?
Well, as a nurse, a public health advocate,
Hmm.
I realized that ignoring burnout could jeopardize my health and
Yes.
purpose. You see, when you push the symptoms aside and continue to, want to push through to, rock it through, that could actually jeopardize your health and eventually you will not be, productive. So a close colleague asked me one day, when was the last time you did something just for yourself? Because, yeah, and I went home, I thought about it. That was a philosophical question.
Yes.
And at the same time, it was rhetorical. It didn't require an answer at that spot. So I felt that was a wake-up call for me to say, hey, I think you need to rethink your approach to
Yeah.
doing things. You can't give out of an empty vessel. So you also need to refill yourself to get rejuvenated so that you can give more to the society.
I call that thought-provoking question.
Absolutely,
That
yeah.
keeps your mind going. So, were there any cultural or professional or even financial pressure that made it harder for you to address your burnout? Because sometimes
Well,
stuff around us will make you like, oh no, like you be denying the situation even when it's really bad.
well, yeah, it's a combination of multiple factors, I would say, including culture, like you asked. Culture
Hmm.
plays a major role. I'm from Nigeria,
Mm,
and back in Africa, there's this cultural expectation that when you express vulnerability, that is considered weakness,
weakness,
especially as a man.
especially a man.
Exactly, especially as a man. So, and again, being a first generation academic, a
Hmm.
leader, representing global health equity, I
Mm,
felt pressure to keep showing up strong every time. In many cultures, especially within my Igbo culture,
yes.
burnout can be misunderstood as a sign of weakness. So you don't want people to know that you are weak, so you want to push further. But I realized that it's good to even cry. It's good to
Yes.
express your emotion. It's
Yes.
good to,
Yes.
vent out when you are frustrated. These are normal. But within our culture at that time, because we were really subjected to that cultural influence,
Hmm.
it was difficult for me to say, hey, I can't do this
Yes.
because I felt I would be judged. I felt people around me would say, hey, I thought you are a man. Are you not? And people did say that. Are you not a man, my
Hmm.
friend?
Oh,
Go and
suck it
do
up.
this.
You know how
Exactly.
they say
So,
it, suck it up.
so
Yeah.
I think these factors contribute to burnout, and unfortunately, it also contributes to the fact that people do not really speak about it,
Yeah.
and it's okay to be vulnerable.
When you talked about the cultural part, I mean, I never thought about it that way, but what you're saying actually sounds right, especially for a man. If a woman cries because she's under pressure, people might say, okay, all right, okay, you're fine, and just kind of calm the person down. But for a man, how are you gonna say you're having burnout and you're crying? I mean, everybody around you would think the world is turning upside down.
Yeah, upside down on you, or
Yeah.
you are not man enough. That
Yes,
word, you're not man enough,
that's right.
can
That's
put
right.
people into a critical situation.
But it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to cry too, and then seek help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you begin to recover, and what practical steps helps you most when you were recovering?
Well, back many years ago, during an evaluation during where I used to work
Mm-hmm.
in Nigeria, one of my okay, when they did the evaluation, they will tell you your supervisor will write your positive aspect and also the negative aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the supervisor wrote all the good stuff about me, but it got to the bad part. She couldn't even find something to write negative or where I needed help. But the only thing she wrote was that I always said yes to everything. I
Oh,
always want to help people. I always want to, any responsibility, I would always say yes to it and I'll do
wow.
my best to achieve that. So at that point, I thought, before then, I thought I was actually on top of the game, but I realized that it was actually a problem. So
Wow.
recovery began with me acknowledging my limits. I started blocking off rest periods, decided to delegate. Before I would want to do everything by myself, but I had to learn that, part of the qualities of a good leader is to
Delegate.
delegate. So,
Yes.
and also the worst part is learning to say no to some opportunities.
Wow.
So
You
these
know,
are things I had to
mm,
learn in a hard way, even if they were great. But at the point I would
mm,
say, no, this is not the time. And then therapy and prayer too prayer really did a lot of magic, I would say, and then support from trusted friends, mentors, and family. So all this really made me to reconstruct my view about how to deal with daily life activities, and then how to manage my own self and take care of my personal self-care.
You know, when you said something about faith, the kind of upbringing that we have in Nigeria is when you're going through this kind of stuff, you're told to go pray about it. Faith plays a major role, and you've
Yeah.
actually mentioned it while you were answering the question. But also, I want to kind of dig deep a little bit. So, what role did faith, family, and mentorship play in your healing journey? Especially.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah, that's yeah, my faith actually grounded me
Mm,
during the tough period, and I realized that it was okay to be vulnerable. It was okay because if we were perfect, everything would be perfect in the whole world. But it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to re-strategize. It's okay to also have a personal time with yourself, and your God. So I think that moment was when I realized that, okay, having a personal time, a quiet time was really helpful. And then
mm,
that also gave me the opportunity to reflect on the things
mm,
going on around me. And then, but not just only faith, my family also reminded me that I'm valued,
mm.
and I think that was also a major part of it. When you don't have a
System.
support system, it becomes very, very challenging to go through difficult situations. So that also contributed. Yeah, and then the people around me generally, I surrounded myself with people who had positive energy, that
Wow.
were not judgmental, but that
Mhm.
also realize that we are all human beings. So at that point, I just said, okay, I have the people around me. I have all the things I needed, and that was what led to me re-strategizing and also recovering from the burnout I had encountered.
That's interesting. So, as someone that have been a nurse for so many years now, what advice will you give to a healthcare professional or an educator that is facing burnout right now, based on your experience?
Well, the advice I will give, I I have multiple pieces of advice, but the major one is that even when you are experiencing burnout, you are not failing.
Mm.
It's just that your cup is just empty. You are not failing. Experiencing burnout is not a symbol of failure. It's just that you are exhausted. So
Mm.
it's okay to pause. It's okay to rest. And it's also okay to realign and re-strategize.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad, regardless of whatever people say, because you can't give from an empty cup or an empty vessel.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not allowed to protect you actually have the liberty to protect your personal peace. You
Mm-hmm.
have liberty to prioritize your healing. So because you need to be strong for you to take care of it. Just like in the aeroplane,
Mm-hmm.
during the initial takeoff announcement, they'll tell you, okay, if the cabin pressure
Take
reduces,
care of
you
yourself
have
first
to take care of yourself first
before
before
you
you
can
take
take
care of
other people.
somebody else.
That's
And
right.
that is really very critical.
Yes. Wow. Wow. People listening to this show right now is gonna be like, this is good. Especially the male nurses. Some people do, what we call macho man. Like they don't want to admit that they're vulnerable. But you saying all this, I know is going to empower a lot of people. So what does taking charge look like for you today? Like when you say I took charge.
Oh, like to be in charge.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think to me, being in charge means to be purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you should be sustainably purposeful. I know that may sound like a complex word. What I mean is, when you are purposeful now, you have to devise a means to continue being useful, being purposeful. Because if you do it without considering yourself, you get exhausted. So it means saying yes to joy, things that make you happy, saying yes to rest, your quiet time,
Mhm.
saying yes to meaningful work, like doing things that are meaningful, and at the same time, saying yes to things that prioritize you, like saying yes to prioritizing yourself. And also, you have to say no to
Oh
guilt.
man, I was waiting for that one.
Yes, say no to driven overcommitment. I was guilty of that.
Yeah,
You don't want to disappoint somebody. So you always have to say
yeah,
yes, yes. So that should be considered, it should be considered strongly.
yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I have some of this. I have some rapid fire questions I usually ask, and one of
Oh.
them will be, and one of them will be, what is the word? Just one word to describe burnout.
Mm, burnout. I think I would say you are draining. Yeah, draining should. I think that's the nearest word that I can remember that really
Draining,
exemplifies burnout. Yeah.
draining. That sounds so
Draining,
practical.
making
Yeah.
you empty. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So one thing you wish more people knew about burnout.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wish more people knew about burnout is that burnout sometimes can be tricky. It does not really present in the same way in everybody. People experience burnout differently. So somebody may feel lack of sleep. Somebody else may experience something else. So and some people don't even know that they are experiencing burnout. So they should not always expect that burnout will come with heavy headache, banging headache. It could
Mhm.
come in a subtle way. So they should recognize some of those subtle cues that represent symptoms of burnout.
Wow. So what's your go-to affirmation or prayer when you feel overwhelmed?
Well, it is well with my soul. As you know, yeah, it is well with my soul, gives me peace.
You
You
know
know,
what? Mhm.
yeah, it gives
One
me peace.
give you peace. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one thing I know I always do is I start thanking God. I start thanking God, like being appreciative, you know. All right. So another question: coffee, tea, or something else?
Mm, I will go for tea, but my
Tea.
own kind of tea is hibiscus tea or ginger tea.
Oh, that's what we call zobo, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
doable.
So
Yeah,
how do you
that's
like
doable.
it? Do you usually put like pineapple in it, or do you
Yeah,
put
I love
honey?
if you put some pineapple juice in it,
Uh-huh.
gives it some sweet taste, which it's
Yeah.
still natural. Yeah, and not too cold, not too hot.
Wow.
Just
Just room temperature.
yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
lukewarm.
All right. So, what is the hobby or activity that brings you joy? A hobby or activity that brings you joy?
Now, I think I also did not mention this while we're talking.
Okay.
I had to transform some of those things that I love doing.
Hmm.
I made them to become some of the work I do. I converted them to become something meaningful that I love doing. For example, writing and
Yeah.
reading. When I
Wow.
tell people, they think it's I'm weird, but this makes me calm. When I start reflecting on people's work, what they've written, it
Hmm.
gives me some peace. I reflect
Hmm.
on certain things, and then that gives me strength to push forward. And I also love traveling. I love to
Wow.
travel to, see new culture, things like that. And
Yeah.
I love music. I play piano, so
Wow.
yeah,
I
so
didn't know
that's
that
also
about you.
yeah, I play piano, and
Wow.
yeah,
So you enjoy music.
I
What kind of
enjoy
music do
music.
you usually play? Can you play like classical or
Yeah, I play
what kind of anything?
contemporary music and also hymns. Yeah, hymns are my
Wow.
major area. Yeah.
So you read notes very well. Some
Yeah,
people
I
play
read
by
notes.
hearing, and then some people
I
just
do
read.
both, but I think
Wow.
I do more of playing by hearing, but I also read and transcribe notes.
Wow, that's a very, very wonderful gift.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, in my house, we grew up with a piano, but my older brother was so good at it, right?
Wow.
That I would rather,
I
I did a
love
little
it.
music in school and I was good. And then, but my brother was so good and he plays and he can sing too.
Whoa.
So I'd rather sit on the side and watch him just play and sing, you know?
Yeah, I love listening to people play, and I
Mhm.
also love playing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's on my bucket list. That's one thing I have to go back to. I mean, I have
It's
a
it's
keyboard at
it's
home.
good.
Yeah, I plan to do it. Wow, that's really good to know. See, you already told me
Yeah.
something I didn't know about you. So what's one bold move you made that you were so proud of?
Okay. One bold move I've made in my professional career, right?
Anyhow,
It's
anyone,
okay. Well,
both.
the most recent one
Mhm.
is founding the Oncology Nursing Society of Nigeria.
Wow.
It's a
Wow.
great, a move that I thought was just a little activity, but eventually it has exploded to become something even bigger than me.
Wow.
So up to today, we are reaping the benefit back in Nigeria, trying to promote the profession in Nigeria and also in other African countries.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the major move that I've made professionally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it was you that I was having a conversation with about that. One of the oncology nurses we get a Daisy Award, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. We have a partnership with the Daisy Foundation
Okay.
to award an exceptional oncology nursing nurse in
Mhm.
Nigeria, and this was so it will continue annually. This will
Wow.
boost the morale and also make other people to be interested to become oncology nurses. Of course, we have a lot of cancer cases in Nigeria. We
Mhm.
need nurses to come on board to also contribute their quota in the fight against cancer. So that is my major one of my major moves professionally.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, is there any other thing? So, let me ask you this before I ask you the last question. What I know you are constantly conducting a research on something. So, what are you working on currently? Or what are
Well,
the things that you're working on currently? Because I know you're
okay, well,
publishing a lot
thank
of
you
articles,
for clarifying that question. What are
mm,
the things? Because I do multiple
research.
researches
Yeah.
at the same time because I work with a lot of colleagues. I work with a lot of mentees. So
Hmm.
right now, my research is focused on trying to improve quality of life and spousal support for women who are facing breast and gynecological cancers in
Wow.
Nigeria. So yeah, we because we realize that sometimes when a woman gets breast cancer or gynecological cancer, their male partners, sometimes leave them, run
Mm,
away, or even marry another wife or become emotionally distant from their wife at a critical moment when they need their spousal support.
yeah.
So we are developing an innovative intervention to see how we can promote that spousal support, which will eventually translate to improved quality of life for these women with breast and gynecological cancers.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. I mean, I've read a lot of your articles and they're always very informative. I'm telling you, I really appreciate what you're doing here in the
Thank
United
you.
States and also in Nigeria. And you're still a professor in one of the universities in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, I help to promote oncology nursing workforce.
Hmm.
So I help in developing some courses for oncology nurses back in Nigeria. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Nwozichi. So,
Thank you for having me.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, to the audience, I want to ask you, after listening to this episode, I just want to, I just want you to take a moment to reflect on your current pace. Are you giving from an empty cup? What practical steps can you take this week to restore your peace? Whether it's setting a boundary or saying no or asking for help. So if something happens today and you're not able to walk, how long can you sustain yourself? So write it down and commit to it, and then take charge. Take charge. So if you have any questions or you need more information about financial literacy, email me at takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. takechargewithdrchichi@gmail.com. Let's talk about it, okay? So thank you so much, Dr. Nwozichi, for sharing a great tip and information. It inspired me. And if you're watching, thanks for tuning in to the show. Dr. Nwozichi, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for having me.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you so much. So if Dr. Nwozichi's story resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with a colleague, family, or friend. Subscribe, leave a review, follow us on YouTube. Very important. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe. So remember, you're more than your job title. You deserve financial security, work-life balance, and a career that fuels you and not drains you. Take care and keep advocating for yourself as much as you do for your patients. Burnout is not the end of your story. You can rise, reset, and reclaim your life. Until next time, take charge and stay bold. See you on the next episode. Thank you and bye.
Take Charge with Dr. Chichi is a brand of Sparkling Star Development Strategies LLC. The information provided is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or medical advice. Financial services are offered independently by Dr. Chichi in accordance with applicable licensing and regulatory standards. Thank you for watching.